Hello, loved ones. Thank you for joining me today. And if you're new to the channel, then welcome to the family. Today, we will review Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 23. This was titled Last Call for Music City. Can you believe it? We have made it to the end of the season. What a season this has been. Since we are no longer coupled up, I will mostly go in the order of the episode, only deviating when we get light topics. So if you're excited about a particular scene, please see the timestamps in the description box. To be a part of the congregation, please subscribe. To be part of the conversation, please comment. And to contribute to today's offering, please drop a like in the collection plate. And with that, let's get started. The episode begins 19 days after Decision Day with Clint and his furry friend Hank on a tour of the city. He takes Hank to a few of the executive legislative buildings in Nashville. They viewed the Capitol, the courthouse, and a few other sites. I was here for it. I love things like this. It's nice that Gina allows Clint to still spend time with Hank. I think Clint is a really cultured individual, and this is something that he really would do. I actually see Clint as very smart and intelligent. He jokes and has fun, but some of his word choices to me speaks to his educated side. However, I think this was a setup scene by production to lead into the conversation that Gina had with the divorce attorney on day 22 after Decision Day. When Gina had her virtual call with the divorce attorney, I did not see the point of the call, since it's common knowledge that Married at First Sight pays for and coordinates divorces indicated on Decision Day. Also, it's rumored that each person signs a prenuptial agreement before the marriage, so that if a divorce is requested, each person leaves with what they came in with, including Hank. I think it was a cute scene, them making us think that Clint was at the courthouse to claim Hank, and Gina talking to a divorce attorney asking if Clint is in his legal realm to do it. I really like Clint, and I don't think it would be in his character to take Gina's dog from her. However, I have seen some people turn when it comes to divorce when their character becomes unthinkable. I do think in a normal situation it would be valuable to seek advice of a divorce attorney. We see what's going on in the public eye with Kenya and Mark Daly, where they are still in a heated divorce, and it appears that Mark is holding up the process. When we saw him, Mark, on camera say that if they got a divorce, he would not fight it, and Kenya could have everything because he built it once and he can do it again. At least I think that's what the conversation was on the Real Housewives of Atlanta a few seasons back. It was surprising to me to find out that Nashville has a 60-day waiting period, which means at this point none of the couples are divorced, not even Domynique and Mackinley. Also, that divorce attorneys charge by 1/10 of the hour every 6 minutes. I personally did not know that. Hank gets his own cameo and says that Clint is pretty awesome. I think production was trying to create light and fun moment for dog lovers. I am not a dog lover, but I was here for it. I love light humor mixed in with my reality. Clint seems not only cultured, but also financially secure, since he has offered a hefty price to purchase Hank. On day 24, Clint finds a much cheaper way to obtain a dog. He meets with a dog breeder who shows him 2 young red-headed golden retrievers. I think it was so responsible of Clint to put some thought into the decision instead of making an irrational decision. I'm not sure why he was shown 2 dogs. I think Clint is preparing for the end of the show, when Gina may not be inclined to allow him to visit with Hank, or maybe he does not want to continue to interact with Gina after the show really concludes. I'm not sure why he did not seek out Jasmine to find him a dog, since she is a dog breeder. I'm sure she has not sold those 9 puppies she had when the show started. Maybe both he and Airris could purchase one of those puppies. Moving on, we see KIRSTIN and Jasmine meet, and KIRSTIN presents a business deal where they can collaborate together. You can tell that KIRSTIN is still dealing with the decision to divorce. Jasmine shares that both her and ARRIS are dating other people. KIRSTIN shares that she is not there yet and will put her energy into creating success in business. KIRSTIN invites Jasmine to join her in creating a party bus company where they can both net a six-figure annual income. Sounds like a great idea to me. I personally love collaborating with others. You have to be a certain person and a certain type of person to enter into a successful partnership. You have to be able to compromise and blend and accept the ideas of others. I'm excited to see how this develops. KIRSTIN says that SHAQUILLE and ARRIS both missed out. They missed out on women with beauty and brains, and they are going to be at home drinking water and crying tears. A lot of hydration going on. What? Is that a read? That just shows you what type of sense of humor KIRSTIN has. She is a total homebody. On day 22, we get another business update, which was from Mackinley. We see that Mackinley moved back to Flint, Michigan, and is doing the same thing he was doing before the show. Personally, I think that he was recruited. I think that he was on vacation, and now he has resumed his normal job. Moving on, we see Nicole and Chris packing up Nicole's apartment. It was cute that Nicole emphasized them being tall and short. They're gonna wrap all the dishes in t-shirts for efficiency. I could never. I would have to get some real packing items. Although her way is more cost effective, I could not do it. I love that they decided as a couple how they would celebrate Thanksgiving, and I love that Nicole's dad wants to foster a relationship with Chris. I agree with Chris that it's nice to see the evolution of Nicole's dad since he was not a fan of the process. We learned that Chris is an amazing cook. I don't think I knew that. I think Nicole's dad has given us a great example of how to support someone in their personal decision, although you don't agree with what they are doing. It's been nice to have him as part of the season. I love that the show closed the loop on this parental relationship. They also allowed Domynique's mom to wrap up her storyline since she was an integral part of Domynique being on the show. For me, it sounded like Domynique's mom was low-key saying she wished she had given the relationship a true chance. Domynique shares that she has no regrets, and it was solidified in Mackinley's actions after the separation, and I agree with Domynique. I think Mackinley, speaking from a place of hurt, has been demeaning towards Domynique. On the after party, he seemed really bitter. However, the person who is rejected is generally more upset than the person who made the decision to separate. I believe that's on this show and in the real world. Domynique shares that she has a crush on Gil and that they are having some communication. On day 20, we get our last parent sighting for the season. When Gina meets with her parents at dinner, I think they were just trying to integrate Gina into this episode, and this was the way to do it. I did not see how this scene added to the episode and saw it just as a filler. She shared with her parents that she has begun to date Mackinley, who is another cast member, and that Clint has offered her $10,000 to purchase ink. That seems like a lot of money for a dog, which may indicate that Clint is financially secure. I'm not mad at him if he has it like that, then good for Clint. Moving on, we see Airris go on a date with KENDRA. KENDRA was featured on the Matchmaker special 14 days ago, but was not picked for this season. I believe that the Matchmaker special is written and filmed after the season is filmed. Therefore, if she did not receive a home visit but was featured in the episode, it could have been an afterthought to prepare for this particular moment. I would have loved for Airris to share if he was attracted to her physically. Although they are only children, they have that in common. They both grew up without fathers due to death. I don't think they would have made a match. Her one deal breaker was a Christian, and I actually don't think ARRIS subscribes to a formal religion. His answer was the classic, all roads lead to faith, and we can choose what route we are going to take. He said, for you, going to church is great. If he was about that life, I think he would have connected with her on that point. I agree with her when she says that God has a plan, and honestly, from this one day, if she is serious about her faith, I think she can see that they would not have made a good match. He spoke of meditation being equal with the Christian faith. I guess I should say if KENDRA is serious and strong in that Christian faith, it would not work. However, many people have wavered in their faith to secure a relationship. ARRIS says that KENDRA reached out to him. How did she do that? I thought their social media accounts had been closed. So is this another producer plan? Did production reach out to KENDRA? At the end of the date, ARRIS asked if there could be a second date, and KENDRA says yes. I am willing to bet that this was their one and only date, especially since ARRIS has told us that he wants to date with purpose. He can tell from this first date as we can that it is not a match. We then see another relationship interaction where on day 24, we see Domynique FaceTime Gil. Domynique says he looked nice and Gil says thank you. He never repays the compliment. We catch up on Gil, who has begun dating a few months ago because he has lost faith in women. Domynique shares that her marriage only lasted 11 days based on her gut feeling, and he is not here for that. He believes that you have to give the process and the relationship a try. He says there is going to be moments that you disagree, but you have to be willing to fight for it. It appeared that he was turned off at that moment. I don't think he is interested in Domynique because he says he will be really busy for the next few weeks. Domynique has a crush on Gil, but I don't think he had an initial spark. I am not sure how that would work out since Gil lives out of state. Do you think Domynique is open to moving out of the state? Moving on, we see a cast meet up on day 20 for Charlie's second birthday. Now, who is Charlie, you might ask? That is Nicole's dog. Yes, you got it. We are watching a dog's 2-year-old birthday party. This was an odd event, just a way to bring the cast together. What's coming up? Only thing they could think of was Charlie's second birthday. SHAQUILLE, Jasmine, and Gina were not available, but the rest of the cast attended. KIRSTIN, Clint, and Domynique bought Charlie a gift. KIRSTIN says she is not a dog person and likes dogs from a distance. We caught up on the cast, most of which we already knew, because it's been featured on the show. Mackinley is still bitter and says he can take or leave Domynique, but he has mentioned her in every interview. This is the last time we see Mackinley for this season. I think he is a bitter Bob and took no responsibility for the negativeness he brought to his marriage. I think he was recruited and always planned to move back to Flint, Michigan, and just took a leave of absence from his job, and now he has resumed his normal position, allegedly. That is what I believe. Every time he is on camera, he has something negative to say about Domynique. I wish that he could just move on, and it is apparent that Domynique has already moved on. So let me know your thoughts on Mackinley in the comment section. Do you think he was recruited? Do you think that he is now running a place that he didn't have before his job? Do you think he's the director of sales or management, whichever that he said, on this new job? Both ARRIS and Clint shared that they are thinking about getting a dog. KIRSTIN reached out to SHAQUILLE to offer him condolences for his grandmother's passing. Domynique and KIRSTIN, they want to move on free of their partners. Domynique has no beef with Mackinley and is able to be around him. Nicole says that Chris has seen all of her at this point and he still loves her. That is so sweet. Moving on, we see Chris and Nicole on day 24 move into their shared apartment. I loved it. However, 24 days after decision day seems really quick. I would like to know how they lined that up with the ending of both of our leases. It's important to note that Chris is a man of his word. He told Nicole that they would take one decision at a time and he would move to getting them an apartment together after decision day. He did not drag his feet and he did just what he said he was going to do. I think this is huge for Nicole. She gave into Chris and allowed him to lead in this area, and he really did come through for her. I think this is another step in the right direction to build on their foundation of trust. Great job, Chris. Moving on, we see Jasmine and Airris on day 22. And they meet with SHAQUILLE. It's nice to see that Jasmine and Airris are cordial and can interact with one another. I don't think I could do it. It makes me have hope that maybe there's a chance they can get back together. I know some don't think so, but I think they actually make a really cute couple, and I would love to see them put in the work to make their marriage work. So I know that is hopeful thinking, but let me know what you think in the comment section. SHAQUILLE talks about the emotional toll that the death of his grandmother has taken on him. SHAQUILLE wants him and KIRSTEN to be friends, and he says that when KIRSTEN sat across the table from him, she could not even look at him. Jasmine says that KIRSTEN is in a state of confusion, embarrassment, and rejection, and once healing occurs, she will be able to be cordial. And I think that was a great explanation from Princess Jasmine. I agree with her wholeheartedly. Airris says that for him and Jasmine to get to the point where they are today, it's because of hard communication, accepting each other's feelings, and grace. And those are all great qualities to have in a relationship. And I agree with Airris. I think that it has taken hard communication, accepting of each other's feelings, and a lot of grace. SHAQUILLE shares that he will be meeting with KIRSTEN and he is clear on his decision. He says he needs to listen, acknowledge, and validate her feelings. He is not going back and forth on whether they are going to be friends. If they're going to be friends, then they will be friends. At this point, I am with Team KIRSTEN. She wants to move on and not bring her ex-husband, who she knew for only 8 weeks, into her next relationship. I don't see anything wrong with that. If I was KIRSTEN, I would be willing to be cordial when I'm in the married at first sight spaces, but not pursue a friendship. I mean, they got in this experiment to be married and not to be friends. Moving on, we see KIRSTEN on day 24 visiting her cousin to share that her and SHAQUILLE are getting a divorce. She visits with cousin TAKEENA and her husband GLEN. They are devastated. It was their faces for me. They looked devastated. KIRSTEN believes it was the Memphis trip that really moved their marriage to another direction. She believes that SHAQUILLE had uncommunicated expectations, and it takes time to get to know one another and what the other person's needs are. She shares the details of the Memphis trip and says that she was willing to meet his needs, but it takes time to get to that point. KIRSTEN shares that she is going to meet with SHAQUILLE, and I love TAKEENA's response. She says she would have nothing to say and would not meet with SHAQUILLE. If it was her, it would be over and done with, and there would be nothing to say. KIRSTEN believes that it's more than her not meeting SHAQUILLE's needs as to why he said no on decision day. On day 26, we see SHAQUILLE and KIRSTEN meet for closure. KIRSTEN starts the conversation by asking about his family and offering her condolences. I love that because this is real talk. That is what you would do when you're in a real situation. My question is, who set up this meeting? KIRSTEN said in a prior episode that she was done with him and would not be reaching out. We know that KIRSTEN called him to offer condolences, but did not request a meeting at that time. When SHAQUILLE talked to Jasmine and ARRIS, he said they were meeting, but he did not say who initiated contact. Therefore, I think this is a production setup, needing to move the story along and give the audience closure. I'm here for it, and if it was a producer setup, I am a viewer and I needed the closure. SHAQUILLE shares that things are going well and they are managing the process, talking about his family. He is flying out that night to be with his family and put his grandmother to rest. My condolences to SHAQUILLE and his family. It is my prayer that God will provide comfort to him and to his family. Death affects us in very different ways, and the sting of death can last a lifetime. KIRSTEN finally asked the right person the right question. She asked SHAQUILLE, why was he crying on decision day? We have heard her say that many times, but she finally asked the right person the right question. He says he wanted to be married to her, and he cried because he made a decision for him. He could not believe what he was saying. He says that he did not get what he wanted, and he did not know that he was so vulnerable. He says they did not get a fair shot to get on one accord. SHAQUILLE asked, where do they go from here? And KIRSTEN says they go their separate ways, but she can be cordial. I think it is very interesting that he took no responsibility for his actions. And he talked about it only from the standpoint of him not getting his needs met. But I'm not surprised. He always talks about him getting his needs met and never talks about KIRSTEN or how this affected her or what he could have done better, only that his needs were not met. I do like that KIRSTEN just listened and did not try to defend herself or go into what about me. I think SHAQUILLE is so full of himself that she would not have been heard, and what he is going through with his family, it was not the time for it. I think in this situation, KIRSTEN was being the bigger person. She did what she came to do. When she was talking to Jasmine, she told Jasmine that she was coming to listen, and that is exactly what she did. At the end of the meetup, SHAQUILLE criticized KIRSTEN and says she is not nurturing because she did not ask if his family needed anything. I am so confused. What does SHAQUILLE want from KIRSTEN? I do know people in my life who would have done a complete takeover. They would have called SHAQUILLE, been by his side, and really integrated themselves in the situation regardless of their current circumstances. Then there are those of us like me and KIRSTEN. I am here if you need me. I will check in to see how you are doing, but I am not going to get into your business. Personally, I don't think either of those approaches are not nurturing. I think it relates to personality. Personally, I did want to see KIRSTEN ask him if he needed her to be there or wanted her to come. However, I did not find her to be not nurturing because she did not. I have to remember that although they are married, they have only known each other for less than 90 days, not even a full quarter. So for me, it's SHAQUILLE with his hidden expectations that he again expects KIRSTEN to meet. I don't think he is fair to KIRSTEN at all. I agree with SHAQUILLE's final thoughts of they leave as two individuals married at first sight who could not get on the same page. Personally, I think that's the fate of most marriages that fail. We are not willing to work through our differences to ensure that both partners are getting what they need and able to compromise so that both get what they This is the last time we see Shaquille and KIRSTEN for this season. Our last scene for this season is the axe throwing meetup. Shaquille could not make it because he was flying out that night. And KIRSTEN, I think she was emotionally drained since her conversation with Shaquille and the all-cast event took place on the same day. My final thoughts about these two is I believe the clip that is out there where Shaquille said he did not think he was good enough for KIRSTEN. That makes more sense than she is not a nurturer. I think Shaquille sabotaged the relationship because he did not think he was good enough for KIRSTEN. However, I hope they get back together. Gina told us that divorce has a 60-day waiting period. So at this point, they are legally married. I hope they are back together by the reunion. I don't think nothing has transpired that they could not overcome. What are your final thoughts about Shaquille and KIRSTEN? Please let me know what you think in the comments. Moving forward to our last event of this season. As indicated, Mackinley, Shaquille, and KIRSTEN did not attend. Gina calls Mackinley, but the call appears to drop and he does not answer. They discuss sending a big head text, and I had no idea as to what that was or what it means. Let me know in the comments if you understood the big head text conversation. We then see Nicole and Gina trying to hook up Domynique and Clint and wanting them to kiss based on an axe throwing game. At first, Jasmine was the main one saying she does not want to see it. But when they actually kissed, Jasmine and Airris were the main ones looking. The look on their faces looked shocked. It appeared like it was a real passionate kiss, and it lasted a long time. They dipped back for a second kiss. I don't know what I think about this. In the grand scheme of life, I would not be here for it. However, they only knew their spouses for 2 months and it did not work out. And it does not appear that neither couple engaged in intimacy. So I don't know how I feel. I feel like I can't agree with them getting together because it does not seem right in the scheme of marriages. They might work out. Domynique likes older men. I think they are both fun, loving, and I like that they have maintained a standard to only talk about themselves and not about their partners. I love that Clint talked positively about Domynique. However, he talked positively about Gina. I think that's just part of who Clint is and his character. I would love for the camera to follow Clint and Domynique and Gina and Mackinley, and we see where this brings. At the end of the episode, when Clint and Domynique walked out, they had their arms around each other, and when they turned the corner and got away a little bit, Domynique put her arm down. So I think that this was just all in fun. Gina says she knows there's no spark between her and Clint because when he kissed Domynique, she felt no ounce of jealousy. That's real and a great point. It is a good indication that she is ready to move on. I see Gina and Clint strictly as friends who hung out together for 8 weeks. I am not surprised. I stand by my prior comment that Gina was done with the relationship when Clint voiced his type of woman being athletic and slender. Gina says that Domynique is younger and may not mind Clint's sense of humor. Jasmine calls KIRSTEN to let her know what just went on with Domynique and Clint. And KIRSTEN is so shocked. The 3 men at the end of the event, Airris, Clint, and Chris, say their last goodbyes. Clint wants a great, awesome, amazing, desirable relationship that's steadfast, strong, sturdy, enlightening, and adventurous. Airris plans to take what he learned and move forward with purpose, and he will be fearless because this was a very bold thing to do, and he is excited about all of their futures. Chris says he went in hoping that he would like his spouse, but he loves her and he gained 8 new friends. He is looking forward to growing their love, and he appreciates each cast member. Clint ends the season by saying that this is a landmark experience and big things come from small beginnings. And it starts by meeting complete strangers at an altar wanting to seek love. Some arrived and some still are on their journey. They will each write their own story, and it is going to be epic. And this is the end of season 16 of Married at First Sight. What are your thoughts on this season? Do you think Jasmine and Airris, or KIRSTEN and SHAQUILLE, should get back together? Do you want Mackinley and Gina and or Clint and Domynique to give their relationship a try? What are your thoughts on the future of Chris and Nicole, our solo married couple? Let me know what you think in the comments. Well, that puts this season in the books. Let's continue the discussion in the comments section. Until next time, please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, live with intention. Be intentional.